Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, firefighter among 2 killed in St. Mary. The St. Mary police are probing a double murder in Freehill early this morning. Killed were 48-year-old firefighter Gary Samuels and the 26-year-old Barrington Clark. It is reported that the attack was carried out by men posing as the police. The police report that Clark and his common-law wife were at home when around 1:30 they heard a gunshot coming from the lower floor of the 2-story dwelling. The persons then came upstairs and shouted at police. Clark reportedly proceeded to open the door, and the men entered the room and asked about someone. The men then opened the fire, hitting Clark all over his body. The attackers then fled, and Clark's common-law wife went to the downstairs dwelling, where she discovered the body of Samuels, which had gunshot wounds. An alert was raised, and Clark was rushed to the Porta Maria Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. A police team visited the crime scene, where Samuels was found face down in his underpants. The police say several spent shell casings and a live round were seen near his body. Sections of Rivoli in Spanish Town under curfew. Sections of Rivoli in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, are under a curfew. The security measure came amid tension in the area following the fatal shooting of 2 men by the police during an alleged confrontation on Saturday. Upset residents mounted roadblocks yesterday to protest the incident. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Saturday, September 21, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Monday, September 23. The boundaries of the curfew are north from the intersection of Manchester Street and Hanover Street, traveling along Hanover Street, passing Brunswick Street, and continue along an imaginary line about 800 meters to the riverbank. South from the ending of the eastern boundary, traveling about 1,000 meters to Barrett Street. East from the ending of the northern boundary, traveling along the riverbank, passing Gordon Boulevard and Nugent Street about 800 meters. West traveling from Barrett Street to White Church Street, and to continue along an imaginary line about 1,000 meters to the intersection of Manchester Street and Hanover Street. During the curfew, all persons are required to remain in their premises unless authorized by a member of the security forces responsible for enforcing the curfew. Wild horses rampage leaves 3 animals dead and cars damaged. Chaos erupted on the Bernard Lodge Main Road in St. Catherine on Friday night when several horses escaped from nearby stables, trampling a dozen vehicles in a wild rampage. The incident, which occurred around 8:30 p.m., left 3 horses dead and at least 14 vehicles badly damaged. Fortunately, no passengers were seriously injured. The horses, which were described as being in a state of panic, reportedly stormed down the road, terrifying commuters. Taxi operator Alman Harris, who plies the Nagahead to Spanish Town route, was one of the first to encounter the frenzied animals. I usually approach the corner with caution, and as I came into the corner, I see a lot of horses, so I stopped. Another taxi came up behind me and pushed me into the horses, and I see the whole of them behaving like them mad, Harris told the news. He described how the horses began jumping onto his car, shattering the windshield and even climbing onto the roof. I then see them run off the road into the bushes, and I think they had left. But they come right back out and mash up a whole heap of car that park on the side. Them just start climb on top of the car them and I mash them up. A crazy thing, he recounted. Despite the terrifying encounter, Harris was relieved that no one in his car was injured. He urged the authorities to find the owners of the horses and ensure the affected motorists are compensated. Another motorist, Parkland Brown, shared a similar experience, saying that about 7 horses charged at his vehicle. I stopped to see if they would pass, but they started crashing into the car. Some jump on the bonnet on the top and mash out the car glass. One of the horse foot was in the car, so I leaned away so as not to get hurt, he said. Brown noted that the area where the incident occurred is poorly lit and called on authorities to install streetlights along the roadway. The owners of the horses need to exercise control over their herd, he added. Robert Reynolds, another driver, described hitting one of the 3 dead horses on the road. I was driving along and I saw lights flashing and me hear boom. Then me realized me hit one of the dead horse. My front bumper tear off, but me thank God it wasn't worse, he said. The motorist expressed a concern on Saturday as none of the farms in the area had contacted them or publicly claimed the responsibility for the animals. When the news made contact on Saturday, the operators of one of the stables in the area declined to comment on the matter as a police investigation was ongoing. Several calls to another nearby stable went unanswered. The police were also tight-lipped, only noting that an investigation was underway. British woman fined for overstaying in Jamaica. A British woman who is said to have worn out her welcome in Jamaica received a monetary penalty when she appeared in the St. James Parish Court last Thursday. The defendant, Stephanie Borland of London, England, had overstayed by 14 months, according to court documents. It was reported that the British woman arrived in the island in February 2023 and was landed for 90 days. However, she failed to leave the country and was subsequently apprehended by law enforcement officials who acted upon information received and proceeded to the Salt Springs St. James community where she was seen. Following Borland's guilty plea, presiding judge Natisha Fairclough-Hilton fined her $7,000 with an alternative of 10 days in jail. A removal order was also imposed. October 14 trial for foul-mouthed woman. Melrose Bremer, who on a previous court appearance hurled expletives at the judge, is expected to prove her innocence in her upcoming trial at the St. James Parish Court in October. The trial, initially scheduled to commence before presiding judge Natisha Fairclough-Hilton last Tuesday, had to be rescheduled due to time constraints caused by the judge's involvement in another ongoing trial. Consequently, a new trial date was set for October 14, and the Bremer's bail was extended. She is currently in court due to allegations of trying to assault a family court judge and wielding a knife towards a law enforcement officer in open court. On January 3, after presiding judge Keisha Grant Price denied her bail, Bremer told the judge to perform an oral sex act on her mother. A week later, when Bremer again appeared in court, she reportedly raised her index and middle fingers and gestured in the judge's direction as she was being led out of the courtroom towards the holding area. There was no response from the bench. Bremer pleaded not guilty to disorderly conduct, assault at common law, and the possession of an offensive weapon. Those charges stemmed from allegations that she attempted to attack a family court judge and a police officer in open court last December. She was taken before the family court for a case involving her 11-year-old child who is said to be in need of care and protection. The child has also been diagnosed with Down's syndrome, which may cause delays in mental and physical development, as well as increase the risk for health problems. According to court documents, on December 6 last year, Bremer became agitated after the judge decided to place her child in state custody. She allegedly attempted to hit the judge with a chair. Bremer was restrained by a police officer. However, as she walked along a passage leading to the holding area while being taken into custody, she reportedly drew a knife that she had hidden among a stock of boxes containing court documents. She allegedly held up the knife and told the officer, "You are an idiot. Look how easy I could have killed you." She was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct, assault at common law, and the possession of an offensive weapon. It was while answering to those charges on January 3 that she hurled abuse at the presiding judge Keisha Grant Price. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.